Everyone, just give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen.
Yep.
Yep, fantastic. Okay, folks. Look, as Alan said, this is part two of three parts into dominating your market for the people who didn't see last week's. If you're a member of Be Connected World, you can go onto the website and you'll actually find a recording of the session on there for you to look at. So thank you. Again, for you guys, who is this guy? Look, that's my background, 30 plus years as a C-suite executive here in Australia and Southeast Asia across 12 different industries. Used to lecture in business at university, and before that, I was a high school teacher. So none of which I say to say how great I am, but just to let you know you are in safe hands. There's a lot of blah, blah, blah out there about unique selling propositions, points of difference, and all that sort of stuff. So today will be a session like most of mine. No rainbows, no unicorns, just solid, usable information you can take. I will go fast, but the key thing here is because there is a recording, you'll be able to grab the recording and copy some of the slides and things from there as you need it. It'll be a little bit like drinking from a fire hose, but one of the things I do ask you is if a question crops up for you during the presentation, grab it and put it down in the chat. So at the end of the presentation, I can answer them for you. More than happy to do so. So look, time's short. Let's go. What is a USP? USP stands for a unique selling proposition, and it was first started being talked about back in the 1940s, of course. Wall Street in America was where they started doing it and using it there. The thing is, people often confuse a thing called a pod, a point of difference, with a USP. And here's the difference between the two. All right. Really, the key difference is while both pods and USPs highlight what makes a product different, the point of difference is the point of difference focuses on specific features of a product or a service, whereas the USP combines these features with customer benefits to create a pretty compelling idea of why people should buy. Both of them strive to answer that question, why should I buy from you? So really, a pod is a subset of a USP. But today we're talking about the unique selling proposition. Something we all need to factor in is that brand loyalty is dying. It's not completely dead, but it's dying. Why? People have too many options. They've got too many distractions. They're flooded with content. There's information everywhere. There's a lot of AI slop out there. Most of the information seems vanilla and samey. People are starved for context, direction, and experience. And that's where people like us come in. We can provide context and experience. You can learn anything you want in the world from YouTube, but if you don't have context behind it, often what you learn is very surface-like. We exist in a million channel world. There was a Ben Affleck interview just the other week where he talked about writing for Netflix and how they have to write in such a way they repeat and repeat and repeat main parts of the story. Why? Because they know 90% of their audience is sitting there scrolling at the same time as they're watching a program. So if we're competing with people scrolling while they're watching a movie and we've got all this stuff out there, it's really, really hard to stand out in a group and stand out amongst the noise. In fact, if you don't stand out, you might as well just be invisible. Some people try to stand out by using the old snake oil thing. They're sleazy and they try for the quick hit and run in terms of money and all that sort of stuff. No one here would do that, but you need to be aware of it, particularly in Instagram ads and things like that. There's an awful lot of people ripping people off. Really what you want to do is try and stand out in the proper way. In other words, where you are a clear choice. So a unique selling proposition will tell your customers how your brand or product is superior to your competitors. It will tell them about the unique benefit or benefits that enable you to stand out from your customers. It will deliver your promise and it acts as a differentiator. This is one of my absolute favorite pieces of USP from the bicycle store. For an additional $4.95, we'll provide a receipt that matches what you told your spouse you paid. What a fantastic USP that is. Remember, a good USP leverages your positioning and clearly articulates how your business is different from your competitors. The characteristics of a strong USP, and here's my second favorite USP that I found. In the US, everything we sell sucks. Pretty good for a vacuum cleaner company. The USP needs to be concise and short. It also needs to be easier for customers to remember and recall. Remember, if people remember who you are, that's brand recognition. The chances are you'll go closer to top of mind and people will come and try and seek you out. Apple's positioning, think different, worked very, very well, concise and memorable. And it's one that sort of encapsulates the brand spirit, just like Nike owns Just Do It. A USP is a customer-focused promise. For example, if your business is about fast delivery and all that sort of stuff, like Domino's did, hot fresh pizza to your door in 30 minutes or it's free. That worked very well as unique. They've moved well away from it now, but for about 4 decades, that carried Domino's as a clear differentiator in their marketplace. It's important you understand your customers' pain points, whether you're trying to build a USP or not. And you should understand particularly how your business addresses them for them. You can do that by highlighting a key benefit. The key thing is with your USP is it must be real or authentic, if you'd rather use that overused term. It must be based on what your business genuinely is better at than other people. It should reflect something that's a true strength of your business. And that makes it easier to sustain. You know, if anyone here has read anything about psychology, and I'm sure Alan has, the hardest thing in the world to maintain is a complex lie or a repetitive lie. It's much easier to tell the truth because that's easy to stick to. The USP is the same. If you lie on your USP, you will get caught out. You will come asunder. USP fails. Well, what makes a USP fail? If you're thinking about it, well, that can be too wordy. They can be a lie. They could be mistaken. You could think you're better than someone else at what you're doing, but you're really not. You could be completely wrong. You could be talking to the wrong audience. Anyone could use it. It might be only a headline. Here's a good example of really someone overreaching to try and get a USP. There was the Queen's Gambit miniseries on Netflix, fantastic miniseries. So rather than just say, here's another chess set, someone repackaged it and said, here's a board game. Yeah, no, not so much. All right. Thing is, your unique selling point has to be something that everyone in your team can talk to and can defend. And if your team is the category of one, then that's you. Importance of a strong USP. Well, it's important for 4 main reasons. 1, it provides you with differentiation from the marketplace, from your competitors. 2, it helps attract your clients. You know, an effective USP tells people about the specific needs they have and that your product actually deals with them. It provides brand loyalty. If you've helped people once and you talk about it, they are more likely to refer you and come back to you. And more importantly, it gives you pricing power. If you're consistent in your delivery, but you stand out from your competitors, you can then charge a premium for your product or service. It gets you out of red ocean and being commoditized and gets you into that lovely blue ocean where you don't have a lot of direct competition. So how do you make up one of these things? Well, here's some examples of some Australian USPs. Their current Bunnings Warehouse, lowest prices are just the beginning. Pretty good one. Thank you. They're the people who do the bottled water and all that sort of stuff. We exist to end global poverty. Canva, empowering the world to design. Afterpay, shop now, enjoy now, and pay later. Qantas is a different one, the spirit of Australia. It doesn't really speak to anything specific except being an Aussie. Boost Juice, Love Life. Vegemite's a great one, tastes like Australia. Red Balloon, Live a Little. And Guzman y Gomez, which is an Australian Mexican food chain. Who said fast food had to be bad food? I love that one. I think that's great. So some examples from America or around the world. Those of us that have been around for a while would probably remember Stop for a Stanley. That was what people used to use to sell Golden Fleece petrol way back in the day. The happiest place on earth would have to be Disneyland, when it absolutely positively has to be there overnight. Well, you know, we know who that is. American by birth, rebel by choice, that's American genes, etc., etc. Yeah, but these things work really well. And if they're done well, these are really clever strap lines, not a complete USP, but the thing is they straddle the line between just being a clever line and actually telling people about what you do. So you're going to find and craft your USP. You need to stand out in a group in a good way. You need to be in charge of changing the perception of you and your product. You want to avoid the sleaze. You know, I'm sick and tired of seeing people online telling me to hurry up and buy this PDF report because there's only 6 left. It just doesn't make sense. Or, there's only 4 copies of this video left for you to download, all that sort of BS. Don't be sleazy, be honest. Talk benefits, talk pain relief, talk transformation, and try and make sure the value you talk about exceeds the price by 10 times. You want to become a category of one. A category of one means you can have lots of competitors, but you stand out head and shoulders above them. You identify your unique selling proposition by looking at your business strengths and your customer demand. And when they cross over, that's where your unique selling point lies. So how can you can do this by inventing your own category, subcategory. Some people might just say, we look after dogs. All right. But if someone says we look after dogs who are less than 10 kilos, we look after chihuahuas, you can go down and create your category of one. And the smaller the category or the niche that you want to address, the easier it is to come up with a unique selling proposition and a point of difference that helps you stand out from everyone else. Teaching people how to sell on the phone is not a bad name for a course. Teaching people how to sell over Zoom is okay as well. Teaching medical practitioners how to sell over Zoom is even better. Think about how you can do it. Remember, it's product versus offer. It's really about identifying a problem and providing a solution. You need to tell people about the before and after. So if you're going to find your USP, decide this: what product or service are you selling? And clearly define what it is you're offering to the marketplace. What are the unique features and benefits that it offers? Bearing in mind, you want to be talking benefits much more than features, probably 3 or 4 times to 1 if you can, but list them out and have a look at them. Who's your target audience? And define your ideal customer. I mentioned features and benefits because you need to know the difference. And this is where so many people make a mistake when they're marketing or building their business. A feature of Diet Coke is it's low calorie. A benefit is look better than the biatch from accounting at the end of year party. Same message, quite different. Going to find your USP, understand your customers' key pain points, understand how your product or service reduces, removes, or diminishes those things. Look at your competitors. What are their USPs, or what are they pushing as a USP? Is it true? Is it something that you can adopt and adapt and probably surpass? Use this to position yourself positively. What do you do better than your competitors? How do you run your business differently? How do you treat your customers differently? There's a mob called Tom's Shoes in America where they literally go buy one, give one. For every pair of shoes they sell, they gift a pair to poverty-stricken people in, I think it's Peru. But nonetheless, that's what they do. So it's simple. Buy one, give one. Great USP for them. To create an effective USP, it's got to be memorable with simple, clear language. It has to focus on benefits. Remember, talk about how well you look at the end of your party if you drink Diet Coke rather than the fact it's low calorie. Be authentic, be honest, reflect what you do, be truthful, and test and refine it. You've got to test it with a few people. But at the end of the day, most of all, you have to work on this idea. How would you answer a customer who says, why should I buy from you? The way you answer that pretty much will give you your USP. All right. It's not just about what you sell, but it's about why customers would choose to buy from you over others. So how to implement it? Distill your answers to those questions. Figure out what it is you sell, who for, what pain you remove, what you do better than your competitors, and pull that together. Make it visible. Your USP should be on everything, from your business cards to your website to the bottom of every email you send out. You should be making sure that it repeats and people see it all the time. Live it daily. So if you want to stand out in the crowd, what you need is to have a well-defined, unique selling proposition, because that can set your business apart. It'll help attract your ideal customers. It'll differentiate you from your competitors. It'll resonate deeply with your target market if it's done well. If you make it a central part of your business strategy and daily operations, it will have real impact. Next time, I'll be talking about a thing called signature systems, which is probably the most powerful type of unique selling proposition you can ever hope to build in your business. It's your turn now. Your next steps are quite simple. Review your services and products, decide what it is that client gets, create the steps they get it. We'll build your signature system next week. We'll make it a graphic and we'll talk about unleashing it. So today, apply what you've seen, get some help. And if you want to chat about it, not a sales call, I'm happy to help you. Scan the QR code or grab my link from the chat and let's get some time together so I can help you. Thank you. Any questions?